What's up? What's up? What's up? Tony M on the check-in. Hope everybody's doing good out there. It is cold again in New York State. At first, when I thought we were doing good, it was 50 degrees. This past weekend, took the bike out, had a good time, felt great. Getting on a motorcycle again, you know what I'm saying? After the winter. Well, not after the winter. We're still winter time. Spring is coming up real soon in about a couple of weeks. But I was like, yes, finally, some decent weather. But we're back cold again, but it's going to get warm up again on Wednesday. So waiting for that. But anyway, today I want to talk about people cutting corners. And listen, we all cut corners on jobs that we do. We all cut corners, but you got to know when to cut the right corners. But sometimes you got to do things the right way. Sometimes you got to do things the right way so that way you don't have to do it again. You know what I'm saying? And then you waste time. Here's a story. I was on patrol and I was driving with a senior guy. Now, he was a senior guy. He had about 18 years on around that time. Around that time, I was off probation, but I had less than 5 years. Okay? Assigned to the 3-3, and we was on patrol. That's how I remember distinctively. Okay? So, we was getting ready to have our meal hour. All right, some people say, meal? What are you talking about? Lunch break? Yeah, but we call it meal. So we ordered our food from BBQs on 165th and Broadway. All right, so that way we could have it ready. So when it was time for us to go in, we could sit down and enjoy our food. Okay? All right, so anyway, a job comes over, and I remember it distinctively. It was a landlord-tenant dispute. It came over the radio. Okay, now what I mean by job, I mean radio run. So we picked it up. It was in our sector. Also, just to let you guys know that a lot of times, you knew what time each sector had their meal. So a lot of times, if a non-heavy job that comes over the radio, the sector will sometimes pick it up knowing you got meal. So that was like a courtesy thing, because we try to keep the meals on time as much as we can, because sometimes meals are far in between. They say meal is a privilege because we still get paid for that meal hour. So they say meals are a privilege. So if a heavy job comes over, you're not going to give it to another sector car to deal with. You got to deal with it. And what I mean by heavy job, a crime being committed, whether a misdemeanor or a felony, a domestic violence incident that came over, a DOA, dead, someone who passed away or is deceased, things of that nature. So those are heavy jobs, but something like landlord-tenant dispute, 99% of the time, it's going to be a civil matter, okay? Unless something else happened, unless a crime was committed during that time. Because, see, a lot of people, they like to withhold rent if things aren't being fixed in their apartment. So that's what a lot of times you're called for. It's like, what do you want us to do? You're withholding rent, and okay, they refuse to fix the leak in your bathroom. We have nothing to do with that. It's not a police matter. So you got to take this up with landlord-tenant court. Okay? So that's what a lot of times, that's what it usually is. Okay? So we get a landlord-tenant job. So we go, yeah, we'll go handle this job. By the time we're finished, we go eat. But you still gotta respond, and you gotta hear both parties. Okay? You gotta hear both parties. So we get there, and we met with two gentlemen. One was the landlord, of course, and the other one was a tenant in the building. Now the situation is, he says, come on into my apartment. He had some issues with the apartment. He had a leaky roof and all that good stuff. He says, listen, I'm not paying my rent because they're not fixing it. And I'm like, hey man, that's your prerogative. We're not here for that. I'm like, anything else that occurred? Anything? No. He just refused to come in here to fix the ceiling. It's water coming through. So I said, okay, all right. So I'm speaking to the super. It wasn't the landlord. It wasn't the person that actually owned the property. It was the super that was there. The super explained to say, hey, listen, he hasn't paid his rent in months. And I got other apartments I need to fix up and things of that nature. And then we explained to him, and he says, and then on top of that, the man was saying, the tenant was saying, oh, they keep coming by. putting notices on my door to keep calling. That's harassment. No, that's not harassment. They want their rent. That's not harassment. So he kept going on and on and on and on. And I explained, he said, oh, I just want a report done that they keep harassing me. And I said it to him. I said, listen, I said, a harassment complaint is, it's not going to go anywhere. Aggravated harassment is something like when somebody's calling or by the means of through a computer in the state of New York. That's aggravated harassment. Now that's a crime. You understand? Or threats too, while you on a computer or leaving messages or text messages, over the phone. So the super was just saying, no, we're not harassing him. He hasn't paid his rent. They're allowed to do that, to put a notice on your door. First notice, second notice, third notice. Now we're going to go to court because they can't just kick them out and they can't change the locks. They can't do that. So they got to go to landlord-tenant court, and the landlord, it costs them money because now they got to get him out of there. He was a single occupant. He wasn't there with other people in his apartment. He was the only one that was living in there. So the senior guy that I'm riding with, the senior officer, I was like, okay, I'll just fill out the harassment complaint. Not a big deal. I'll just fill out. It's not going anywhere. Okay. And he was trying to talk him out of it. We were there for almost an hour. And I'm looking at him like, listen, you're driving. I'm the recorder. So I take care of all the reports. I said, it's not a big deal. I'm like, let me just fill out the goddamn complaint. It's not going anywhere. Okay. Oh, he feel like he's being harassed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you explain that you referred him to landlord-tenant court. That's it. It's closed that day. It doesn't go anywhere. You get what I'm saying? So I was just looking at him, and we spent over an hour. We done passed our meal hour. We wound up eating in the car. So I and then afterwards, after the fact, after all that, I wind up filling out the report. Okay. Closed to patrol. It's closed. That's it. That's it. Just here. You want me to do a report? No problem. Fill out the report. Name. The super. He states that he's harassing him by leaving notices and everything on his door. Failed to pay rent, etc., 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 etc. Referred them to landlord and tenant court. It's a civil matter. It's not a police matter. But it took me less than 10 minutes to fill out the report. We would have been gone because I've been wanting to fill out the report. He was too busy trying to not write the report when I would have been writing it anyway. So this is what I'm saying. Sometimes it's just best to go through the whole thing, fill out whatever you need to fill out, and be done with it. Okay? It's not worth it. And another thing too, those of you out there who own property and people paying rent, I feel for you, man, because they go through this all the time. You got people who pay their first and last month's rent and security deposit, and then you don't see no money ever again. Thank God I never had to deal with that. I'd rather not. And then once you get them out of your apartment, they destroy it because they're mad. They'll flood the damn apartment. That's what kind of stuff that people do. Okay? Just evil and malicious because you didn't pay your rent, so now I'm going to destroy the property. It's just disgusting. I remember another dude I used to work with. He had rental property, but he was very smart. He said that he rented out to Section 8. He gets his check every month. You know what I mean? And pretty much they were like, nah, you take care of the apartment. He got lucky because he had a couple of apartments. He says no. He said they all they all work, but they just don't make a lot of money, so they need government assistance. They said the family works. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And he says, yeah, he gets his rent every month. And they've been living in his apartments for like years. He gets Section 8, but he always get a check every single month it comes in. So that's something to think about. Anyway, peace and blessings, and I hope everybody's doing good out there. All right, take care.